Hi students, I am Narayana Prakash. Welcome to 5Co Academy online classes. And today I introduce a new topic for you, the tenses. And I know you might have already studied these tenses in your younger days. So today I brush up that memory. And basically speaking, there are 3 tenses in English. And if you take any language, whether it is a Malayalam, English or Hindi or any language, and all the language will have 3 tenses. And our English language has 3 tenses. The first one is present tense. Present tense is the first one. And the second one is past tense. And the third one is future tense. My students, it has got an order. You have to say present tense first, and second one is past tense, and third one is future tense. Now you will have a doubt in your mind, why I have written present tense between past tense and future tense. And you just think about yourself. Now you are sitting, you are going to listen my class, you are listening my class. I mean, the action is going on in the present. And shortly speaking, present tense is the most important one in our communication. 90% of our communication is going on through present tense only. So we have to give a maximum importance for present tense. And just before you attend this class, that time will be your past. You may be having your lunch or something like that. You may be engaged in some other activities. So that will be your past. So past tense is closely connected with your present tense. And after this class, after listening my class, you may go and do some other activities. So that will be your future. And while we write the diagrammatical representation of tenses, we can do this pattern. Present tense first one, second one past tense, and finally the last one is a future tense. And the grammarians, they have divided all these tenses again. I mean, present tense has 4 divisions, which means that you can talk 4 sentences in present. Present tense has 4 divisions. So which means that you can write 4 sentences in present and you can talk 4 sentences in present. And imagine, I have spoken some examples for present tense, 4 types of sentences in present. And after completing this class, when I go from here, those past sentences those 4 present tenses will become past tenses. So what I am trying to say that this past tense has also 4 divisions. Present tense has 4 divisions, and similarly this past tense has also 4 divisions. And when we come to future tense, it has only 3 divisions. And some teachers, they will say that future tense has 4 divisions, but you should study only the 3 divisions. And the 4th division, we don't use the 4th division commonly in our English. So you will be very anxious to know, very curious to know what are these divisions. So present tense, I am telling you, the first division is simple present tense, and present continuous. Second one, present continuous. Third one, present perfect. And the last one is present perfect continuous. present perfect continuous. Okay, listen. You know, present tense has 4 divisions. I told you. The first one is a simple present tense. Second one is a present continuous. Third one present perfect, and the last one is present perfect continuous. So, by looking this column, you can make the 4 divisions of a past tense. You know, actually you don't need my help, and you just look at this column and you can make the 4 divisions of a past tense. So, what will be the first division of a past tense? Simple past tense. Simple past is the first division of a past tense, and present continuous, second division of a present tense. Here second division is a past continuous. Third one here present perfect. So, what will be here? Past perfect, and the last one is past perfect continuous. Okay, now you want to study 8 divisions. I mean 4 divisions of a present and another 4 divisions of a past tense. And when we come to this the divisions of a future tense, you know, there are only 3 divisions. The first one is simple future. That is the first one. And second one future continuous. And third one future perfect. Okay, now we got all the divisions. So, briefly speaking, you know, basically speaking, there are 3 types of tenses: present, past, future. And I told you present tense has 4 divisions: simple present, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. And similarly, past tense has 4 divisions: simple past, past continuous, past perfect, and the last one past perfect continuous. And when you go to future tense, it has only 3 divisions: first one simple future, second one future continuous, and the third one, that is future perfect. So, you want to understand something about these tenses. You know, tenses are supposed to be the foundation of our English language. You know, if you want to write any sentences in English, or if you want to talk any sentences in English, you know, you need the help of these tenses. You know, some students will make many mistakes while they write a sentence in English. You know, suppose you want to write a letter to an office or to someone, and when you write a sentence in English, actually you know everything else, but after writing you will be confused. You will be in a dilemma. That means, you know, you will be in a confused state whether the sentence is correct or not. And what is the reason behind it? The reason is that you don't know thoroughly these 3 tenses. I tell you, these are the foundations of our English language. And if you learned it completely, you can write sentences without making any mistake. So, we can study each one. First, we can study this simple present tense. Okay, first division we can study. I told you present tense is the first one, and it has 4 divisions, and the first one is simple present tense. Listen, simple present tense. This simple present tense is the first child of a present tense, the first division. So, it has got another name. You know, usually in a family, if the first child is born, the parents will call the baby in various names. And similarly, simple present tense is the first division of a present tense. So, it has got another name, that is present indefinite. Present indefinite. Okay, that is the another name of a simple present tense. And this tense has a formula, that is subject plus first form of the verb. Subject plus first form of the verb. My students, you want to learn it by heart, all the formulas of 11 tenses. You want to learn 11 tenses, I mean 4 tenses from present, 4 tenses from past, and 3 tenses from our future tense. And if you learned it by heart, you can write the sentences without making any mistake. So, come to the point, simple present. And it has got a formula, subject plus first form of the verb. That is the formula we want to write, we want to use while we write a sentence in simple present tense. And it has got some other conditions also. When we can use this formula, or when we can write these sentences, in which context we can write these sentences. Several conditions are existed. So, come to the point, subject plus first form of the verb. To say something about the subject, I told you subject has got 2 divisions. Subject has got 2 divisions. Some teachers will divide subject divide a subject into 3: first person, second person, third person. First person, second person, third person. First person means I, we, second person you, and third person they, he, she, it, etc. And you will be more confused. So, we can divide the subject into 2. I mean singular subject and plural subject. We can divide the subject into 2, singular subject and plural subject. Singular and plural. Okay, what is the difference between the 2? Singular subject and plural subject, what is the difference between the 2? And singular, you can understand, singular. If the action is done by only one person, it is called a singular. If the action is done by only one person, it is called a singular. And if the action is done by more than one person, it is called a plural. And single dance, the announcement is made, and when the curtain rises, you will see only a girl, only one girl who would come on the stage, and she will do the dance. The performance is done by only one person. Only one person, the performance is done by only one person. So, that is why we call it as a single dance. So, the action is done by only one person. I mean, if the action is done by only one person, that is called the singular subject. My friends, you can say lot of example for singular subject. Examples like he, she, boy, girl, etc., etc. And you can mention some names. You can mention some names, the name of your friend, not names, the name of your friend, a singular subject. So, what is plural? Plural means if the action is done by more than one person. If the action is done by more than one person, that is called a plural subject. For example, we, they, boys, girls, etc. You can say a lot of examples. And you want to understand the case of 2 important subjects. I mean the subjects like I and you. I and you. These two subjects are treated as plural in English. Don't forget that. They are plural subjects. And I, there is only one person. And if I say I, you can see only one person. And similarly, you just say I, there is only one person. But grammatically, this I and you are treated as plural. So, I already explained the subject part. Subject is the most important one when you write a sentence or when you talk a sentence. Now I am talking to you. The moment I open my mouth to say a sentence, I use subject first. You understand? I mean, while we write a sentence, we have to, our brain is just like a computer. Don't forget that. You buy, plenty of GBs from outside. And our brain has the capacity to store lot of memories. Some calculation work is going on in our brain while we talk a sentence. So, what I am trying to say that while we talk a sentence, first we want to use a subject and followed by verb and object. English sentence has a pattern, subject and predicate. You want to use the subject first and second predicate. And predicate has got two parts, that is verb and object. While we study, I shall explain all these things repeatedly, then you will get good awareness. Okay, after the subject, the next portion is called first form of the verb. A verb will have 4 forms. Do you know that? In English, we have to use 4 forms of the verb. I mean, the first form is called, I shall give you the notes and you just listen. A verb has 4 forms. What are they? First form is called present form. Present form. That is the first form. Second form, past. Past form. And the third one, past participle. Past participle. And the last one is present participle. I mean the fourth form. Listen, a verb has 4 forms. The first one is called a present form. Second one, past form, past participle. What is past participle? We are going to study everything in detail. What is past participle? Past participle is the ed or en form of the verb. Past participle is the ed or en form of the verb. That means you have to add ed or en along with the verb. That is called the past participle. I will give you some examples. And present participle. What is present participle? That is the ing form of the verb. Ing form of the verb. Present participle is the ing form of the verb. So, you want to study the 4 divisions of verbs. Whenever you use a sentence in English, you should have good awareness of these 4 divisions. Otherwise, you may make some mistake in your sentence. And I shall give you some example. Present form. Present form, some teachers will say that V1. Some teachers will use this technique, V1. V1 means verb number 1. That is called a present form. And past form is a V2. And past participle is a V3 and the last form is a V4. These are the 4 forms. And anyway, you want to study the three divisions V1, V2 and V3. And you know, some teachers, they will never use the word present form, past form and past participle. They will use only V1, V2 and V3. You know, some techniques used by the teachers. Okay, I shall give you some example. Work. You know, work is the present form. Work is the first form of the verb. It is the basic form of the verb. Because from this verb work, we can make some other forms. You know, work is the basic form of the verb, and from this verb work, we can make some other forms. You know, the second form is called worked. W-O-R-K-D, worked. Second form is past form that I told you. Second form is called, V2. V2 means the past form, worked. And past participle. You know, what is past participle? Past participle is the ed or en form of the verb. You want to add ed or en along with a verb. So that technique is called past participle. So this worked, again worked. The third form of work is worked. And present participle, the last one, the fourth step of the verb. Present participle, that is ing form of the verb. That is, work become working. Work become working. You know, why do we use ing form of the verb in our English? And when we use ing in our English, it will make continuity of the action. For example, I am working. I am working. You know, the action is continuing, the action is progressing, the action is developing. So that's why we use ing along with a verb to make this a present participle. So now I told you the four divisions of verb. The first form is called present work. Example, past, second form, past participle, that is ed or en form of the verb, and present participle, that is ing. You know, this example is very simple. Anybody can write it. And some other verbs, you know, you will be confused. For example, see, the verb see. And what is the past form of the verb see? Do you know that? What is the past form of the verb see? You know, the past form is so. S-A-W, so. And past participle, the third form, that is the past participle, ed or en form of the verb. So it will become seen. Do you understand? Seen. You know what I did? We added e n here. We used e n along with the basic form of the verb. And present participle. What is present participle? ing form of the verb. You should understand, see is the basic form and ing form of see is seen. And to some, you know, another example, speak, S-P-E-A-K, speak. And what will be the past form of a speaker? Spoke, S-P-O-K, spoke. And some students will say spoked, spoke. And past participle, spoken. And present participle is speaking. Do you understand? You know, you should have good awareness about the four divisions of the verb. Then only you can write sentences without making any mistake. You know, that means, you know, you should have good reading habit. You should have good reading habit. Then only you will have some development in English. You know, English is a foreign tongue, another language. It is not our mother tongue. And many times, you know, we may feel some confusion. So that's why I advise you, you read some English books. And if the English books are not available, you know, you just buy English newspaper and you read it. And you listen some English speeches every day. You know, everything is available, on YouTube. You will get it. Okay, just listen every day. So, I told you about the 4 divisions of verb: present form, past participle and present participle. Now, we can directly go to the structure subject plus first form of the verb. Okay, present tense, subject plus first form of the verb, that is the formula we want to study. Subject plus first form of the verb. I already explained about the subject section, and similarly I already explained the first form of the verb. First form of the verb is the basic form of the verb. You know what is basic form of the verb? You know, from that verb we can make the other 3 forms. For example, you know, talk, T-A-L-K, talk. From the verb talk, we can make talked, talked and talking. So, what is the first form? Talk is the first form. And similarly, walk, W-A-L-K, walk. And from the verb walk, we can make walked, walked and walking. So, remember, while you write sentences in simple present tense, you have to strictly go through this formula. You know, in mathematics, what will you do? You will use some formulas. And if you know the formulas very clearly, you can apply the figures into it and you will get the correct answer. You know, your answer never be a wrong one. And if you use the right formula and applied all the theory in it. So, similarly, in simple present tense, you have to use the formula subject plus first form of the verb. And in simple present tense, you know, there is one more condition, the most important condition. You know, what is that condition? In simple present tense, if the subject is singular, listen very well. In simple present tense, if the subject is singular, we should add s or es or ies along with the main verb. That is the condition we want to remember. In simple present tense, if the subject is singular, we should add s or es or ies along with the main verb. And if the subject is plural, you know, this condition cannot be applicable. You can't use this condition. You know, this condition is meant for only the singular subject. You understand? I mean, if the subject is singular, you need to use s or es or ies along with the first form of the verb. For example, she drinks coffee. She drinks coffee. She drinks coffee. She drinks coffee. Just analyze this sentence. She drinks coffee. So, in this sentence, she is the singular subject. She is the singular subject. And drink is the first form of the verb. You know, you can use only first form of the verb in simple present tense. So, drink is the first form. But here I used drinks. Why I used drinks here? Because the subject she is a singular one. The subject she is a singular one. That's why I used drinks here. I mean, you should remember the condition in simple present tense. If the subject is singular, you have to add s or es or ies along with the main verb. In simple present tense, if the subject is singular, you have to add s or es or ies along with the main verb. Don't forget this condition. So, the formula subject plus first form of the verb. And I told you the most important condition of a simple present tense. The most important condition of simple present tense. I mean, if the subject is singular, you have to add s or es or ies along with the main verb. This condition is applicable only for singular subject. And if the subject is plural, you can't use it. You don't need to use this condition. And remember, my friends, in English, subject is the most important one. What I am trying to say that the remaining portion of a sentence is highly dependent on a subject. I told you, when you write a sentence, you want to use the subject first. When you talk a sentence, now I am talking to you. And what I am doing? When I open my mouth, first I use the subject, followed by verb and object. So, after the subject, the remaining portion of a sentence is closely connected with the subject. What does it mean? I mean, if the subject is singular, you can use only singular verb. And if the subject is plural, you can use only the plural verb. Such a condition is existed. A singular subject will receive a singular verb. Similarly, a plural subject will receive a plural verb. This condition is known as subject-verb agreement or subject-verb concord. Okay, you will see everything else. You can see, you are going to see all these things. Okay, so s or es or is, I told you about it. So, I gave you one example. She drinks coffee. She is the singular subject and drinks. Why it is drinks? Because she is the singular subject. So, that is why I used drinks here. She drinks coffee. And I am going to change this subject, I use I in the place of she. So, what will happen here? The sentence will become I drink coffee. I drink coffee. The same sentence. But there is a difference in the place of subject. I drink coffee. How does it happen? Because I, a plural subject. I, a plural subject. So, this drinks become drink. I drink coffee. You want to learn this theory. And, some other examples. ES, I shall give you one example for ES. He goes to the market. He goes to the market. See, he goes to the market. Go is the first form of the verb. Go is the first form of the verb, but I used ES. I used ES along with the verb go, then it became goes. He goes to the market. He is a singular subject. So, I am going to change he into they. They go to the market. They go to the market. So, what happened here? They is the plural subject. They is the plural subject. So, it is not necessary for you to use es along with the verb. They go to the market. And another example, she studies English. She studies English. See, she studies English. I used IES along with the first form of the verb study. I used IES along with the first form of the verb study. She studies English. And I changed the subject, another one. We study English. We study English. What happened here? And in this sentence, we is the plural subject. So, that is why I used study as the first form of the verb. So, what do you understand from it? I mean, in simple present tense, there is a most important condition. What is that condition? If the subject is singular, we should add s or es or ies along with the main verb. And if the subject is plural, you know, you don't need to apply this condition. You know, this condition is only meant for singular subject in simple present tense. Okay. Now students, you know, we can discuss about negative sentences in English. You know, there are two types of sentences in English. One is positive sentence and the other is negative sentence. And what is the difference between the two? In the positive sentence, we shall never use any negative words like not, scarcely, rarely, seldom, little, few, etc. They are negative words. Not, seldom, rarely, little, few, hardly, scarcely, anything, nothing, you know, they are negative words. So, negative sentence and positive sentence. Positive sentence means, you know, you will never use the above mentioned words. They are called a positive sentence. To make you, I shall give you one example. She is a teacher. She is a teacher. What type of sentence it is? It is a positive sentence. She is a teacher. And another one is the negative, that is, she is not a teacher. She is not a teacher, that is the negative. So, what we did? We used not along with the auxiliary verb is. You know, there are several auxiliary verbs in English. Do you know what are they? What are the auxiliary verbs we use in our English? I mean, do, does, did, is, am, are, was, were, has, have, had, shall, should, can, could, will, would, etc., etc. You know, while we change a positive sentence into English, so into negative, you have to add not along with the auxiliary verb. You know, while you change a positive sentence into negative, you need to use not along with the proper auxiliary verb. I told you she is a teacher, is, that is the auxiliary verb. She is not a teacher. What we did? We used not along with the auxiliary verb. And in simple present tense, you know, that is our topic. Simple present tense, that is the topic. In simple present tense, we can use two auxiliary verbs. Only two auxiliary verbs are there in simple present tense. They are do and does. Do and does. Do and does. You know, you can use this do or does as auxiliary verbs in simple present tense. And I shall give you one example, then you can easily understand it. And one thing more, 90% of the auxiliary verbs of English depended on the subject, whether it is singular or plural. You know, 90% of our auxiliary verbs depended on our subject, whether it is singular or plural. If the subject is singular, you can use only a singular auxiliary verb. And if the subject is plural, you can use only a plural auxiliary verb. I mean, singular subject will receive a singular verb. Similarly, a plural subject will receive a plural verb. This condition is known as subject-verb agreement or subject-verb concord. Certain processes are going on in our brain while we use a sentence, and we don't know what kind of processes are going on there. I told you our brain is like a computer, and some kind of functions are going on. First we use a subject, and we shall think about, actually we are not thinking. Automatically the words are coming out. Singular subject will receive a singular verb. That condition is already recorded in our brain. The plural subject will receive a plural verb. That is also recorded. So everything is coming out without knowing. We are knowing, we don't know anything else. How this function is going on in our brain. So listen, do or does. The two auxiliary verbs you can use in simple present tense. I mean, if the subject is singular, you can use does. And if the subject is plural, you can use do. That is the condition. Do you understand? If the subject is singular, you can use does. And if the subject is plural, you can use do. And I shall give you one example, then you can understand it. He speaks Hindi. He speaks English. I used speaks as the main verb. Why I used speaks as the main verb? Because he is a singular subject. That's why I used the main verb speaks. There is one condition I told you. If the subject is singular, you want to use s or es or ies along with the main verb. He speaks Hindi. And which auxiliary verb you can use? Which auxiliary verb you can select? He speaks Hindi. So, he is a singular subject. So, you can select does as an auxiliary verb. He does speak Hindi. Listen, if we use does in a sentence, this speaks becomes speak. You want to understand this condition. While we use does in simple present tense, you have to cancel s or es or ies from the main verb. So, he does speak Hindi. So, what is the difference between the first sentence and the second sentence? He speaks Hindi. It is a positive sentence. He speaks Hindi, it is a positive sentence. And the second sentence, he does speak Hindi. That sentence is also positive. He does speak Hindi, that sentence is also positive. And in the second sentence, we used the auxiliary verb does. He does speak Hindi. It means that, we emphasized the sentence. What is emphasized? Emphasized means to give a stress on that sentence. He does speak Hindi. That means, he never speaks any other language. He does speak Hindi. He is not speaking any other language. He does speak Hindi. I mean, the second sentence is emphasized. Emphasized means stressed. And we can change this sentence into negative. He does not speak Hindi. So the sentence is negative and emphasized and uncontracted. You know what is uncontracted? Do you have an idea about uncontracted? Uncontracted means the auxiliary verb does and not stands separately. The auxiliary verb does and not stands separately. So that's why it is called uncontracted. You know, you can use this method in written English only. He does not speak Hindi. You can write. But in spoken English, you know, we shall use he doesn't speak Hindi. He doesn't speak Hindi. This is negative, emphasized and contracted. You know how it is contracted? How it is contracted? I mean here does, the auxiliary verb does and not joined. You know, the auxiliary verb does and not joined together. So that's why it is called contracted. So you want to remember one thing. You know, you can use uncontracted form in the written English, and in the communication English you can use only the contracted form. So this is an example of the auxiliary verb does, and does can be used with a singular subject. And you know, I shall give you another example for plural subject. Another example, I like tea. I like tea. A simple sentence it is, I like tea. You know, a positive sentence, it is positive, I like tea. And here I is the plural subject. I is the plural subject. So which auxiliary verb you can select? You can use do. I do like tea. I do like tea. You know, again the sentence is positive and emphasized. I do like tea. The sentence is emphasized, do like. Suppose you know, I visited your home and you asked me, Master, what do you need? And if I say I like tea means it is a common sentence, only a common sentence. And if you give me coffee or anything or juice or anything else, you know, I am ready to have it, I am ready to drink it, no problem. And if I say I do like tea, I do like tea means, you know, if you give me, you know, juice or any other drinks, I will never drink it. I need only tea. That's why, you know, I used I do like tea. And you know, you might have noticed the wedding invitation card. And generally, you know, the people will never read the invitation card. You know, they will only notice the date of the wedding and the hall in which they conduct the wedding. They provide the food, what time, we will read that only. And when you get a wedding invitation card, after this corona period, if you get an invitation card, you just read it. And they will use the sentence, do come. What does it mean? Do come. That means, you know, an emphasization is given there. You must come. Do come means you must come. And similarly, I do like tea. The sentence is more emphasized than the first one. The first one is only a common sentence. And you know, you can easily write the negative. I do not like tea. The sentence is negative emphasized, and what we say, uncontracted. Uncontracted. Uncontracted means, again, what is uncontracted? The auxiliary verb and not stand separately. That's why we say uncontracted. And last one, I don't like tea. I don't like tea. Sentence is negative, emphasized, emphasized, and the last one, contracted. And how it is contracted? I mean, the auxiliary verb do and not joined together. That's why it is called contracted. Again, I say that you can use uncontracted method in your written English, and in the communicative English, you have to follow the contracted form. I don't like tea. I don't like tea. It is quite musical. I do not like tea. I do not like tea. You have to turn your tongue several times if you want to say that sentence, I do not like tea. You can easily say, I don't like tea. And next topic we want to learn, that is question sentences in simple present tense. Question sentences in simple present tense. Question sentences in simple present. There are two types of questions in English. Do you know that? There are two types of questions in English, yes or no question and WH question. Yes or no question and WH question. And it has a formula. For yes or no question, there is a formula. I mean, auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb plus remaining portion of the sentence. Finally, you have to put a question mark. And for WH question, it has also it has a formula: question word plus auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb and the remaining portion of the sentence. Finally, you have to put a question mark. My friends, you don't need to study this formula. And when you look at this formula, you will be confused. What a formula it is. The sir has used several words. You will be confused. There are two types of questions, yes or no questions and WH questions. And if you ask this yes or no question, you will get the answer only yes or no. And if you ask this WH question, what will happen? You will get the answer in detail. That is the difference between the two. So, come to the point, we are talking everything else based on simple present tense, not any other tenses. I took only simple present tense today, not any other tense. All these conditions are, connected with the simple present tense. Okay, I shall give you one example, then you can understand. We can take the same sentence, I like tea. I like tea. And I like tea, it is a common sentence. And the next step is that you want to find out the auxiliary verb for this sentence. You want to find out the auxiliary verb for this sentence. Which auxiliary verb you can use here? I already told you there are two auxiliary verbs, do and does. And does can be used with a singular subject and do can be used with a plural subject. That I told you. and here I is a plural subject. So, you can use I do like tea, I do like tea. So, listen the difference between first sentence and second sentence. I like tea, a common sentence, and I do like tea, you know, the sentence is emphasized, and I used auxiliary verb do here, I do like tea. And we are going to make a yes or no question here. And the easy method is that you just use the auxiliary verb at the beginning of the sentence. You just use the auxiliary verb at the beginning of the sentence. So, what will be the sentence? Do you like tea? Do you like tea? You know, this I will become you. Do you like tea? So, what will be the answer? Yes, I like tea. No, I don't like tea. You know, it is quite simple. First of all, we want to use the proper auxiliary verb. Then you write it. You use the auxiliary verb at the beginning of the sentence and you use it or talk it. Do you like tea? Yes, I like tea. No, I don't like tea. Okay, you just look at the formula. Do is the auxiliary verb and you is the subject and like is the main verb and the remaining portion of the sentence, that is tea. You know, quite simple it is. And when you see the formula, you will be confused. You may think that, you know, it is very difficult to do that. But when you come to the sentence, it is quite simple. You can use the auxiliary verb at the beginning of the sentence. And I shall give you another example. She works hard. She works hard. She works hard. How can you make a yes or no question? She works hard. She works hard. How can you make a question? Yes or no question? First you use the auxiliary verb. Here she is the singular subject. So you can select does. And I told you, you know, does can be used with a singular subject. Here she is a singular subject. So I used does. She does work hard. Work hard, not works. Not works. I already told you. You know, if we use does, we can't use the s or es or ies of the verb again. She does work hard. So just use does at the beginning of the sentence. Just use does at the beginning of the sentence. So the question will be, does she work hard? Does she work hard? Does she work hard? So the answer will be yes, she works hard. No, she doesn't work hard. No, she doesn't work hard. That will be the answer. And if you want to get the detailed answer, you have to ask WH question. You have to ask WH question. I mean, you have to ask question, you have to use the question word, then auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb. Okay, here does she work hard? Here you just look at the formula. Does is the auxiliary verb, she is the subject, and work is the main verb, and the remaining portion hard. And what you want to do? You just use the auxiliary verb at the beginning of the sentence and you will get the correct answer. Okay, I gave you two examples, one example for does and another example for do. And you know, some other auxiliary verbs we can use in simple present tense. Some other auxiliary verbs. Is or am or are in simple present tense. Is or am or are in simple present tense. the main formula of a simple present tense is that subject plus first form of the verb. Don't forget, that is the main formula. And it has got two auxiliary verbs. They are do and does. I already discussed. Now we are going to study how we can use is or am or are in simple present tense. It has got a formula, subject plus is or am or are plus a noun. Okay, listen. These three auxiliary verbs are depending on the subject, whether it is singular or plural. I already told you 90% of the auxiliary verbs are depending on the subject, whether it is singular or plural. I mean, a singular subject will receive a singular verb and a plural subject will receive a plural verb. Listen, is, am or are, they are the auxiliary verbs. So, subject singular, you can use is, and subject plural, you can use are. You got it? Subject singular, if the subject is singular, you can use is as an auxiliary verb, and if the subject is plural, you can use are as an auxiliary verb. But there is an exception case, I mean the subject I, you need to use am, I am. And a noun, what is a noun? Noun means the name of an object, the name of person, the name of anything else. Noun has lot of categories, collective noun, something like that, and I am not going to that side. The noun section, proper noun, something like that, it has got various divisions. And anyway, you understand that what is noun? Noun means the name of a person, the name of an object, the name of anything else. It is called, they are called a noun. So, subject plus is or am or are plus a noun. I already explained this formula, and you can write that he is a doctor. See what a beautiful sentence it is. He is a doctor. He, subject, what kind of subject it is? A singular subject. That's why we selected is, and a doctor, that is a noun, a doctor. He is a doctor. So, the negative is he is not a doctor. He is not a doctor. That is the negative. And similarly, you want to ask a yes or no question. You want to ask a yes or no question. How will you ask? Just use the auxiliary verb at the beginning. Is he a doctor? Is he a doctor? Yes, he is a doctor. No, he is not a doctor. Very simple it is. If you want to ask a question, there is one thing, use the auxiliary verb at the beginning of the sentence. You will get the correct answer. And I am, another one, I am a teacher. I am a teacher. I, subject, am plus a noun, I am a teacher. So, the negative is I am not a teacher. And just ask a question. Just ask a question. Are you a teacher? Are you a teacher? Are you a teacher? That is the question. Yes, I am a teacher. No, I am not a teacher. And the last one, are. They are students. They are students. And the negative is they are not students. They are not students. And you can ask a yes or no question. Are they students? Are they students? See how simple it is. My students, today we discussed the topic, the tenses, and we studied the basic three tenses, I mean present, past and future. and we studied the first one, I mean simple present tense of a past tense, sorry, simple present tense of a present tense, the first division we studied today. And it has a formula subject plus first form of the verb. And don't forget the important condition. I mean, in simple present tense, if the subject is singular, we want to use s or es or ies along with the main verb. Then we studied, how can we use is or am or are in simple present tense. And there is one more thing item you want to study. Has or have in simple present tense, which I didn't take. Has or have. I shall deal that portion in the next class. Okay, in the next class I shall discuss about a has or have in simple present tense, and we can take a present continuous, present perfect, etc. Okay, thank you for listening my class.
5 Co Academy, first floor, PV Complex, Civil Line Road, West Fort, Thrissur. Phone 9946 99460, 9946 99461.